Hey guys, welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast. Today we have VOWS Bridal and the ladies from the VOWS Exchange podcast. I'm so excited to talk to them because I listened to their podcast and it's so fun. So definitely go check them out. And I'll just go ahead and start reading the bios of these three amazing women. So Olivia D'Angelo is the second generation owner of VOWS Bridal. Olivia has been at VOWS since 2018 and absolutely loves to create magical experiences for brides. A fun fact about her parents and VOWS is that they had a show for 3 seasons on TLC called I Found the Gown when she was still in high school. And Susie is one of the managers at VOWS Bridal in Boston, Massachusetts. She went to school for fashion, but never knew where she would land with it. And she is more than happy that it ended up being in bridal. Ironically, she would pass VOWS all the time in college. Who knew her career would end up there? And she has been at VOWS for 5 years and is absolutely obsessed with it. One of her favorite parts of her job would be going on the buying trips. She loves to see all the new dresses and trends that come out. Fashion shows are so incredible. A fun fact about her is that she recently got married herself this year in August, and it was the best day ever. And finally, we have Mandy. She is also one of the managers at VOWS Bridal in Boston, and her background couldn't be any more different than bridal. She worked in TV news for 12 years and realized it wasn't for her and found happiness in weddings. She loves creating lasting memories and helping brides find their dream dress. And she loves being a part of their happiest day and loves making someone feel confident and beautiful. So welcome, guys. I'm so excited to have you.
We are so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. All right. So I kind of said it a little bit in your bios, but tell us more about VOWS Bridal and the VOWS Exchange podcast.
Yeah, so VOWS was founded in 1992 by my parents, Rick and Leslie.
Hey.
And it all started with 50 gowns in a 500 square foot apartment.
Oh my gosh, no way.
And it was one of the largest outlets at the time. So samples, 50 to 80% off retail, so many different high-end designers. And then through the decades, we've kind of transitioned now fully pretty much into special order gowns. And we have over 1,000 gowns on the floor.
Wow.
We have a lot of gowns too in 2 sizes. So we are known to have one of the biggest plus size selections as well.
Amazing. I'm so happy about that.
Which we love. And I know, Mandy, if you want to talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, that's something that I feel like sets us apart is we get multiple sample sizes in the store. Our biggest thing is we want everyone to feel special and amazing the day you try on dresses, because we want brides to be able to visualize what they're going to look like on that day. And whether a dress is too big or too small, it's hard to envision that. And we really pride ourselves on being able to dress every body type. Even we love to get different colors, and we're just very visual, and we really, really pride ourselves on making sure that everybody feels special and amazing. No matter if you're a size 0 or a size 30, we have multiple dresses to try on, not just one, or this dress is way too small. What is it going to look like? We want you to be able to put on a dress and be like, oh my God, I look amazing. This is it.
That's awesome. I love that for you guys. And we just need more of that in our industry. And I've recorded some episodes just on that topic as well. And it is such a problem. But I just love to see more shops and more people in our wedding industry advocating for that. And so bravo to you guys. I think that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. Even to it's such a nerve-wracking process.
Right.
And brides, if you feel intimidated, we want you to feel welcome to come into our store and be like, oh, I have so many options to try on, and not be scared about what, you're going to look like when you try something on, or oh my God, is anything going to fit? Am I going to, feel worse about myself? That's our biggest thing, is we just want you to feel comfortable and amazing, and we'll help you find something no matter what your size is.
That's awesome. So I know, Olivia, you said too that a lot of what you guys do is special order. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so basically we have stock pieces, and then once somebody says yes to the dress, we'll measure them, bust, waist, and hips, and then get them their correct size, and we can change the color. And then it takes 4 to 6 months to come in.
Okay, gotcha. That's a good range. I know that's always a big question, like that brides typically have when they're searching for dresses. Like, how long does it typically take? Or like, when should I start shopping for my dress? And I'm sure your answer is just like right away, like as soon as you can, right?
Usually recommend about a year.
Rushed or stressed or pressured. So we
Yeah.
like to say, give yourself as much time just so you can really enjoy the process and pick your gown once you know it's the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's super special and super important. So, okay, Olivia, we talked about this at the top of the podcast, but like your parents had a TLC show when you were in high school. Like, spill all the beans on that. Like, what was that like to just have like camera crews around and to just like have them in a TV show?
Yes. So I honestly was a classic high schooler, and I was like, I want nothing to do with this. I do not wish to be on the show.
That's hilarious.
I like regret now. I feel like it would have been
Yeah.
such a cool opportunity.
Right?
But yeah, so the camera crews were always around the store. You can see my back in one of the episodes.
Oh,
Oh.
famous.
Putting the dress away. But yeah, it was honestly just like, oh, mom and dad are getting ready to go to work, you know? So it was really nice though, to be able to see them going on buys, because a big part of the show, they would film them going to different locations to source the gowns. So I kind of could get a peek into like what they were doing when they were on their business trips, which was fun for me as their kid to see what they were up to.
We try to convince her to bring the show back, but
Right? I know. That would be amazing.
I know, except we're not off the rack anymore. So we have
Yeah.
to come up with a new premise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I get that. And that's cool too, just like growing up and like sort of like inheriting the family business or like keeping the family business going, like to sort of like see that as a high schooler of like how the ins and outs of it actually work for then when it did come time for you to kind of take ownership in it, to just really like have that insider knowledge instead of just like stepping into it super fresh. So I think that's probably really good.
Definitely. It was super helpful to kind of have all of that knowledge growing up, because I did grow up in it. And so it feels like it's intuitive, which is nice.
Born into bridal.
Really cool. Oh yeah, I know, right? It was like destined to be.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So you guys just went to New York Bridal Fashion Week, correct? That was just like a few weeks ago, maybe at this point. Okay, so I just want to know everything. Like, what is one of those trips like? Maybe like give us a rough schedule of like how those trips are for you guys.
Yes.
There's no sleeping.
What?
You are running, grabbing food on the go, and you were just running through the streets of New York.
Amazing.
So most New York trips, these girls are on this time. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. They were on FaceTime. But generally, the schedule is we book shows back to back, and we're taxiing and running from runway show to runway show, and seeing all the new styles, all of the trends, and then eating some good food.
Yeah.
it's super exciting going to these type of trips. Like the runway shows are so incredible. And to see, like, to have like the first looks of all the new styles that are coming is just like, it's an amazing experience.
It's like Devil Wears Prada.
It is.
Yes.
Vibe.
And you just feel really like, oh, I'm in the know. I'm seeing it first.
That is so cool. I mean, it is just like that whole, almost like rom-com New York scene where it's like running from one thing to another, like in the fashion world, and you know, like picking up your coffee where you can and hoping you don't spill it on your dress, and like
100%.
Yeah.
You'd see the three
That's
of us
what I'm
like
picturing.
running down like Soho with our smoothies and maybe a biscuit and just running to the next show.
So good, running in heels, and
Yeah.
oh,
It's
that's
so
so
fun.
fun. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so you guys purchase from the show. So you have like meetings with the designers and kind of get like an insider's look. Does that happen like after you see a show, or do you like have to set up appointments with each of the designers? How does that work?
So it depends on the designer. A lot of the times before we go to the fashion week, we do get them just to be able to kind of look at them and write down some notes of like what we're liking. And then seeing it in person, it's always so different. Some shows we can do the actual buy at the show, but a lot of the times we like to go back and kind of debrief and get some feedback from our expert stylists, because they know best. So usually we will meet with like a designer after the show and do the buy then.
It's
That's
definitely
cool.
a collaborative effort because the three of us are very different and have different takes on dresses. Susie's like the trendy, cool one and like always knows what's coming up and what's going to be hot. Liv is like the practical, this is a good look for someone that wants this. I'm a little more on like the eclectic, and I'm like,
anything sparkle. Mandy's like, yes, we need to have it.
Has so
I'm
much
like,
sparkle. We
let's
need it in the shop.
right. So I feel like I'm kind of like the unhinged one where I'm like, someone will definitely love that. And the two of them kind of keep me grounded. Like, no, that's not the look right now. So we definitely like to debrief before because I feel like our selection is very handpicked by all of us. That's why we like having our stylists involved too, because they're with brides all the time and they're hearing what brides are looking for. So we like to, as we say, debrief post show so that we can all make a curated decision for the store, because we want to have something for everybody, not just like the hot pink sparkle brides out there.
It's the healthy
Right.
debate.
If only that were every bride, right? In Mandy's world, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's so cool though that all three of you like have such different styles that are really unique, because then that just helps your shop even more just cater to all those different brides that might come in and try on different things. And even to like what I hear a lot of times is like someone will go and like a bride will go into a shop and like have an idea in mind of like the dress that she wants, but then she'll see something in like that's totally different to it and try it on and be like, oh, that's the one. So I think for you guys to all have like make sure you have such a well-rounded collection that is so handpicked in your shop just allows for more of those moments to happen and just to have more options for brides to choose from as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's such a good point you make, because people don't really know always what they want. And they might come in exactly like what you said, wanting clean, and then end up with something sparkly. So we basically try to have something for everyone.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so let's get back to New York Fashion Week. I would love to know, Olivia, like what shows did you attend, and like how does that kind of like coincide with what brands that you carry at VOW?
Yeah, so we saw some at other like markets. So we were basically seeing Berta, Galia Lahav, Honora, help me guys.
Justin Alexander.
Made with love.
And Made with Love. So that was New York.
Okay.
Oh, and then Amsala.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we saw those, and those are all designers that we are carrying currently.
Okay.
So that's generally how they coincide. Like we sometimes go to new shows to see what's new, but for the most part, it's all designers that we currently carry, and we're just looking for new styles. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, out of those shows, like what are the trends that you're seeing on the runway? Like and I guess we can kind of go into this too, is like with Berta, was it like all basque waist, or were there different themes within each show? So I'd just love to know all about them.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I feel like Berta is definitely just like super glam. They're less of that clean line. They of course have like a couple clean line gowns, but they're pretty much consistent in their their bread and butter, like fitted, glamorous, sparkly gowns. Made with Love had a lot of drop waists and basque waists, which we're seeing a lot of right now. And basically all of the designers, honestly, were up with the trends. If you guys want to talk a little bit more about like what you're seeing with the Chantilly lace and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so drop waist and basque waist is definitely probably the most popular trend right now within designers, which is so funny to think like everything just comes back full circle from like years ago, then things start trending again. And then like vintage lace, like Chantilly lace is a very popular trend right now, which I love because I've always been a fan of Chantilly lace. So I'm like,
Susie has always loved Chantilly.
I do. I'm like, thanks for bringing it back.
That's so good.
Some like asymmetrical necklines. Honestly, I would say like unique looks are so popular right now, which I love because I wouldn't even consider it like a trend since it's unique for everybody. So like each designer's doing something different, which I love.
For sure.
That's really cool.
And I feel like too, Berta, they're known for kind of being that little like bridal edgy moment. But they do it with Chantilly lace. So they put like that twist on something like uber traditional, but then kind of like edging it out. And I feel like what we saw with Gallia is kind of the same thing. Like take something really traditional, like a huge ball gown, and then like put a massive twist on it to make it really stand out. Made with Love too, like they definitely have a certain look, but I feel like they took what they are normally doing and then put another like slap on it with like a drop waist or, you know, a basque waist. I feel like a lot of the designers stick to what they're known for, but then putting that twist on that brides are loving right now.
Yeah, I feel
like
like
Honora did some
really
like really
did
classic
that.
organza with like hand painted flowers. So that's definitely a trend, is that super classic timeless look, but adding a twist to it.
I love that. That is so cool. And like, yeah, I mean, back when I got married, like 2011, like the whole all over lace dress was so popular. So like for me, it's funny to like see that come back, but it is so classic and beautiful. But like I also see that like the way they're doing it now is different than it was, you know, back almost like 13 years ago. And so I think that's so cool to kind of like see these trends like being recycled, but like in a cool new way, like you guys were saying, like adding that extra twist to it. Something else I did want to ask you too was, so are you seeing like an uptick in brides purchasing multiple dresses compared to previous years? Okay.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I feel like I've noticed that a lot just in like the blog features I'm doing and you know, with the trend of like having full wedding weekends, like people are purchasing almost like a wedding dress for their rehearsal dinners now too. And so, yeah, maybe speak a little bit more about what you guys are seeing with that.
Yeah, I did just get married, so I just went through the like pressure of trying to find a white outfit for every single event, and I was
Literally,
like, this is a little insane, but it's definitely very popular. Especially I think the like after party looks of like wearing something maybe shorter and like sparkly is becoming very popular. Getting out of your longer dress into something more comfortable to dance in is really popular. But I totally agree where it's becoming like a full weekend event, from like even from your wedding shower to like the night before to the welcome party to the rehearsal. Like it's just becoming like you need an outfit for everything, which my husband totally hated. But I'm like,
Same.
I'm with the trends, Trav. I gotta go with the
Yeah,
trends.
right. So yeah, how much of that, I guess good question for you, Susie, would be like, how much of that did you take on for your own wedding versus like how much of it were you like, that's a trend and I don't necessarily need it?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I'm definitely one to go with the trends.
Yeah, totally. I get that.
Totally bought into the whole thing, and it was fun, honestly.
Yeah.
I look back at it now and I have all these like white garments in my closet, and I'm like, oh, I'll probably never wear any of these again, but like I'm gonna keep them.
Also, Susie's second
but I
look
totally
was
bought into
crazy.
the trends, and it is just so fun, and there's so many options now out there for like white dresses for different things. So yeah, I definitely bought into it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I changed
That's
into a
fun.
second look. I did the whole thing.
I mean, but you also have it at your disposal at the shop too, and you see it all the time. So sure,
Exactly.
you just have this idea in your mind of like all the different looks you'd want.
Exactly.
And we carry mini dresses too. So we have a lot of brides who will get their first gown and then start looking at minis. And it's fun to kind of figure out like, okay, what's my vibe through the night? Do I want to keep it super classic if I went classic on the first one? Or do I want to change into something a bit more unexpected? So brides have a lot of fun with that. And then we also have a lot of gowns that are kind of a little bit more casual, so could also double as like a reception gown. So we're seeing a lot of brides coming in and doing 2 dresses as well.
I feel like too, because I did a second look, I say this to brides all the time, like you actually don't realize how many outfits you need for this whole like wedding thing.
I know.
And, you know, I feel like it's your one day to like go extra. So do it. If you want to do 2 outfits, go for it. Or if you love your dress enough that you just want to wear it for 12 hours and take a nappy in it when the wedding is over, do it. You know, do you. But I feel like, you know, in my appointments, a lot of brides are like, oh, like this looks like something I would normally wear. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I do feel like, you know, you need to, it's the elevated version of what you would normally wear. So for me, like my first dress was like a huge sparkle, sheer, nude ball gown. And I was like, oh, I really didn't get like my white moment. What do I do? Buy a little white, sparkle, feathered little number. You know, so I could get my white moment too. You know, you can have like a fitted sheath dress, like, oh, like I want to do a big ball gown, but I really want to show off my body. You have so many other opportunities to wear like a fitted cocktail dress that if you want to go a big ball gown for your ceremony, you have the opportunity to do it. So I feel like I've been having a lot of those conversations with brides of the multiple outfits because do it.
Why not?
It's your one opportunity to do it.
Right.
And you don't want to look back and regret and be like, oh, I wish I had that like cute little white dress like at the end for my exit or, you know.
Also, I'm really glad that I had a second outfit because I danced so hard on the way when they announced who we are that I blew both of my straps.
Oh, no. That, I mean, you had a great time. That
you went
is
strapless.
just proof of that. Yeah, right? I mean, you just made it into a third gown, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
A third look.
Third look.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So you guys are seeing like basque waist, chantilly lace, clean lines. Is that really like what you're seeing a lot of your brides in store also gravitate towards? Like what we're seeing on the runways? Is it pretty much transitional into exactly what brides are buying?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a super strong correlation to what we're seeing, which is it's nice because it's good that the brides are aligned with what's being shown.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like if you were like a bridal designer, like it's like what comes first, chicken or the egg, where it's like, you know, are the brides asking for this like one thing and then wedding dress designers are creating that one thing? Or is it more like wedding dress designers are coming up with something, you know, that they're really inspired by and creating that, and then it becomes a trend? So I don't know if you've seen any sort of that.
Yeah, and I feel like designers, I'm sure, take inspiration from, you know, like celebrities too, like what they're wearing, because a lot of our brides will come in with like inspiration from celebrity weddings, like, hey, this person wore this, like, do you have anything that looks like this? So I feel like it comes full circle from that, and just like everyday fashion in general, like what are people wearing in their non-bridal garments, like I think it all comes full circle with that. What's trending just in everyday outfits
I
is
agree.
probably
Yeah,
what
because
a lot of these designers draw inspiration from too.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because like a lot of girls will be wearing, you know, neutrals, for example, and then that kind of translates to the more clean girl aesthetic of, you know, less frill, less sparkle. So I do think everyday fashion definitely affects it.
I feel like a big thing too from like runway to real life is the inspiration. Like brides will show us pictures or like something that we saw. What we I think do great at VOWS is the price range difference. You know, you could show us a picture of a $20,000 dress and we have the variety starting, you know, if you want to keep your price point like under 2 or under 5, you know, it's good to have that variety of like, okay, the runway couture, but you know, you don't want to spend X amount. So I think having the variety there. So when brides do show us the pictures, it's like, oh yeah, I have that like well within your price point. Like, you know, making it more accessible, I think is important.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
I think
feel like
that's awesome.
too, in terms of like price point having something for everyone, we also have stuff that like might not be trending, but like somebody that wants to come in and like be a little bit different than the trends. We also have that. We have, you know, a ton of dresses on the floor, so we aren't lying when we say we have something for everyone.
Literally.
Yeah, that's so cool. And the fact that you guys can customize it and you're super open to that and like changing up designs and whatnot, I think is really cool too. So, like you said, something for everyone, something for every price range that you can imagine. So, are you also seeing like a lot of color happening too? Or is it mainly like white dresses?
Go ahead, Liv.
Okay. I'm like, who's going to answer this?
Yeah.
I would say we were seeing a little bit more color the last few seasons more than this season.
Okay.
There's always like a couple sprinkled in there for certain designers for a little bit more of that like whimsical, ethereal feel. But I think because we're going more in that timeless direction right now, we're seeing a little bit less color. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the nudes and the blushes are always going to be around. But I feel like that clean, classic look is really happening right now. I do agree. I feel like color in the past, I don't know, maybe 2 seasons, like the blues and the purples and the greens were a big thing for a while. Where I feel like now, if you're going to go clean, like a little bit of color, like a little bit of that pink. But I appreciate some color. Get me in a black dress. Love it.
We love color. And
Yeah.
also, we have some veils that have color. Tony Federici veils have like green leaves and, you know, blue
fabulous.
florals. So even if you are doing that clean look, you can always incorporate color in accessories or veils.
That's a great option. Great choice. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
The opportunities are endless.
I know. And you said that there was one designer that did like a lot of hand painting. Was the painting like in color or was it mainly like white or
This
cream that
particular
kind of
one
blended
wasn't,
in?
but one of
Okay.
our designers, Paloma Blanca, has hand painted florals on like organza, and it's like lavender and green.
Oh,
So
my God,
pretty.
it's stunning.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's so cool. And then I had a question about like the timing for like bridal fashion week. So this was the fall show. However, are they spring dresses or are they like fall for next year? Like how does the timeline work on that?
Yeah, so it's for the next season. So
Okay.
spring. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
so
then
yeah,
we
even though
won't-
it's in fall, you're looking at spring dresses.
Yes, and then we won't get them for about 4 to 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Nice. All right. That's
Some
awesome.
of them we see though, we're like, can we get this like now? Because we need
right?
this like
yeah.
now.
You're like, I know our brides will want this now.
Yeah, like let's take this off the model and we'll bring it back to the store.
Yeah, exactly. Bye.
Put it in your suitcase.
Using the sample. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, we can wrap up here. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to chat about as far as like trends or bridal fashion week or your shop or anything else?
I think we're all set. I think
Awesome. Well, tell us
know,
where we can find you guys online.
Yeah, our Instagram is vows_bride power. Our podcast Instagram is vows_exchange. And our website is vowsbridal.com. So if anybody's in the Boston area, come see us if you're engaged. We'll help you find your dream dress.
Yay.
Awesome. This was so fun. I love chatting with you guys. Definitely go check out their podcast. And if you're in Boston, go and check out their shop. And so great talking to you guys. Have a good
Thank you so
one.
much.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much.
This
This
was
was
All
such
so
a
fun.
blast.
right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I hope you learned a little bit and had fun today. To find more resources and podcast episodes, visit NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more information. And as always, click the subscribe button and leave us a review. Until next time, I'm Alyssa DeChico, signing off.